So, hello everyone. I'm really honored to be here for the first time on the stage of Gastromasa. The fact is, I was supposedly being here 3 years ago, but I got hit by like a huge disease wave, and so my sous chef, head chef of Hiša Franko, needed to do it in my name. So it's even a bigger honor to do it today. I'm not going to cook because I think in 20 minutes I cannot give you what I can give you with my words. The topic is sustainability and the topic is biodiversity. What is biodiversity? What is sustainability? I tried to put down in one a little bit longer sentence this morning, and after that we will see the video, but let me first read what I think. So biodiversity and overall genetic diversity regulate all the planet's biological processes and enable the organisms to adapt to their environments and crops to withstand diseases. Healthy and diverse ecosystems allow us to avoid many modern pharmaceuticals that would help heal human and plant diseases. Healthy and diverse ecosystems are supporting food security, so it is also essential for human health and our well-being. And this is a call for going back to single farmers, to seasonal, micro-local, biodynamic farming. This is the way we could return the landscapes to their original condition. Can we see the video, please?
We are biodynamic growers and goat keepers, living on the hill of Srednje, a tiny village in the northwest of Slovenia. We're one of the local suppliers for Anaroš, the country's only 2-star Michelin chef of the Hiša Franko restaurant. 0-kilometer gastronomy is a lifestyle for us. Moving to Slovenia, we wanted not only to learn from renowned local winemakers, but also to work with our hands and live in touch with nature. We wanted to study the new landscape, its needs, its gifts, and how it changes every day. We carefully choose seeds and plant vegetables that have a high chance of synergy with this environment. For us, farming is an artistic expression. It takes a lot of struggle and care to grow vegetables where the priority are aesthetics, flavor, and nutrients. But we believe in the effort because it fills up the food with emotions and vitality. And it's amazing to share this vision with a world-class chef like Anna and be part of Slovenian gastronomy.
Okay, so what is it all about? It was 3 years ago, one lonely winter evening, that I got a call from unknown number, and Italian number, and so I returned the call, and on the other side there was this funny French accent Italian saying, "Chef, it's Gian and Matteo. We live in Goriška Brda. We moved to Slovenia to do biodynamic to work with biodynamic wine growers, and we have an idea. Could we come and meet?" And I said, "Yeah, of course. I always like meeting new people." So they came the day after in a coffee time, and I mean, you've seen them. It looks like they would be coming from another planet. They were smelling of goats, of the land. I mean, with hands that were full of soil under the nails. And I was thinking like, what are they going to propose me? So they told me that one day they were going a little bit around Goriška Brda, and they found this almost abandoned village called Srednje, which is pending somewhere between the mountain and the sea. And they found a house that it's actually not a beautiful house, but they fell in love with it, and that has 12 hectares of land around, with old nut trees, with old walnut trees, with old plum trees, and the house is all to be refurnished. So they said, how about if we think over starting a biodynamic farm, would you buy things from us? And I was like, wow. I mean, usually in Slovenia, you need to ask people to think over alternative ways of farming or growing, and you never convince them. So there is these two people coming from Italy and French part of Canada to actually try to see what they can do out of Slovenian land and make experiments and showcase us that we can grow a lot more from what we think. So I, of course, said yes right away. And then small catastrophes started happening. Like at the moment we did a list of things, what we could grow. She was like, but this is a very poor list. And I was like, yeah, but this is what can grow in the mountains. And Jean said, but this is not all what can grow in the mountains. This is what you think can grow in the mountains. And so her list from my list was 3 times longer. There was wasabino, there was New Zealand spinach, there was ice plant, or husk cherries or husk berries. And I said, but you cannot grow these things in Slovenia in the high mountains. And she said, we should try. Sometimes rotating the plants, the crops, is really important. And believe me, I'm not a farmer, and I'm just a chef who is trying to work as local as possible with what we can grow around us. But my thinking has always been in that old-fashioned traditional way, where you don't, in your head, make a click over that there is a lot more out there from what you really know. So the first year, we went into COVID times. So we actually call it year 0, because we made a lot of mistakes. We grew maybe in wrong parts of the garden, but we also had no guests to cook for. Then the first year that was somehow successful started happening. And you know what happened? Hiša Franko's menu started completely changing. Today, because of Jean and Matteo, we are almost a vegetarian restaurant in the mountains, where I don't believe you should be vegetarian, but we started using meat, fish as a spice to the vegetables that grow on 900 meters. And when I think how much Jean and Matteo influenced my way of thinking and my way of cooking in such a short time, I find that with these humble human beings really, really amazing. So this summer, I got a phone call from Prime Minister. He just took over the power in Slovenia, changing the politics for good. And he said, you know, I would like you to be my hobby program. I would like to show Slovenians what is good food. So we chatted. I was on holidays, barefoot with my feet in the water, listening to this man that has an idea that Slovenians could be eating in a better way. So I said to him, you know what, when I get back from holidays, take an afternoon with me and I will show you something. So we went on a farm. I said to him, you have to be dressed for the garden, no fancy cars because the farmers will escape, and just be there open-minded. And so he came with, of course, big black Mercedes, which was the first negative point for him. But when I've seen how he was dressed, I understood that he was really serious. He was dressed for the garden. So his beginning was very tough and somehow serious and even a little bit angry, because his first question to the farmers was like, why do you call yourself farmers? You just have gardens. And then, why do you call yourself goat keepers? You just have a few goats. And then Jeanne started explaining him that it's a very difficult year because there is no rain. And she actually needs to bring the water from a spring that is down in a valley with her hands, and I'm talking about 600 liters of water every day to water the plants because we have no watering system. So he stopped and he looked at her and he was like, why don't you have a watering system? Why are you not a little bit modernized? And there was a silence. And I thought, like, he maybe doesn't get really a point. Do you know that the plant that suffers, that struggles to grow, to survive, is actually a plant full of nutrients, full of flavor, and it's a really beautiful plant. So, but at the end, Jeanne invited Prime Minister to her humble house, and she cooked something from what she actually picked in the garden a few minutes ago. And that was the first time the Prime Minister actually smiled. At the end, he stayed instead of 1.5 hours, what he promised, actually until 8 in the evening, sipping the natural wine that Jeanne and Matteo are producing and enjoying the beauty of the nature that is growing in Srednje. So, I will read you a few words that I asked Jeanne to write them to me this morning, what she thinks sustainability is, what she thinks about mixing plants from all around the world together, and what biodiversity is. So Jeanne says, eating local does not mean eating only traditional crops. Using crops from around the world enriches the soil and prevents diseases. Crops can adapt to a new landscape, so in Srednje, Vasabino, huskberries, New Zealand spinach, ice plant grow better than cauliflower. Non-hybrid crops from other places are more resistant to pests, require less watering and no fertilizing. For example, I give you an example of my allergies. I'm super allergic, and when I am in my territory, in my surrounding, I actually daily fight with, my body daily fights with allergies. When I travel to tropics, my body actually doesn't recognize none of them. So, big farming with a few crops only bring to hybrids that focus on bigger yield but lower quality, flavor and nutrients. And to close these statements down, I would like to say to you that I'm confused as well. Because I always say that Ana, Roša and Hiša Franko are cooking local, seasonal, actually micro-local food. And then when I present the menu to the guests, there is actually huskberries, there is New Zealand spinach, there is Vasabino, there is Mexican tarragon. So very often I am actually approached by guests saying, hey, but didn't you say you're local? And I'm saying, yeah, I'm local. So what are huskberries doing there? And then I'm thinking that we should somehow redefine the word what is local and what is going to be local tomorrow. Thank you so much.